Today on KWTX News 10 this morning, a look at the legacy of Waco native and former Congresswoman Eddie Bernice Johnson. Her funeral procession drove through her hometown one final time.
Y'all have heard about that first Arctic cold front moving through, but you know we have another one arriving tonight as well. We'll talk about the wild weather changes over the next 5 days coming up.
He is a very deep-seated dog. He was near death.
And one animal rescue in Central Texas saved a few dogs from horrendous conditions they were living in just a few days ago. We have the latest update on the pups.
And next, a local baby is in the midst of a month-long fight with RSV.
This is KWTX News 10.
Good morning. Thank you so much for waking up with us on this Thursday morning. I'm Keisha Lopez.
Yeah, and I'm Pete Souza, and First Alert meteorologist Sean Bellafury has a nice day to present today, I think, but after that,
especially compared to the days that are coming.
Yeah, big changes.
Yeah, we're expecting about a 40-degree temperature swing in high temperatures from today to next Monday, and going from the peak of the mountain this afternoon to the bottom of the valley on Tuesday will be about 60 degrees of a difference. We do have a First Alert weather day declared for Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday for those bitter cold temperatures and the wind chills that'll be coming, and we'll have a full breakdown of that coming up in the next 20 minutes. Of course, you can also go onto our website for a full breakdown there as well. This, however, is our next storm system, which is going to be pushing through tonight, and that'll change our weather for tomorrow. First off, as that storm system moves in overnight from 11 p.m. to 4 a.m. near and east of I-35, there's going to be a chance for a few stronger storms with gusty winds and hail, but overall, it's going to be a beautiful day of weather today outside of that overnight storm chance. 30s, 40s, and 50s outside right now. We'll see a few clouds east of I-35, but today will generally be a very warm day with highs reaching the upper 60s and low 70s.
We have new video from inside the Marlin Animal Shelter showing a much better situation. The kennels are clean and the dogs appear to be in better shape. Now, it's a stark difference from Tuesday when we showed you those horrific conditions at the shelter. Several dogs were malnourished and living in filthy kennels with nothing to drink. We've learned all of the animals that were in the shelter have been either adopted or moved into rescues or even foster homes.
Yeah, and Rescue Healing Heart Rehab in Thornton took in 2 of those dogs, and they say both of them were starving. We want to show you some footage of these pups. Now, this is Dude. Deborah Wells with the rehab says he was on borrowed time when they got him. She says he could not walk and was 40 pounds underweight. She even says that Dude has to be reintroduced to food because it had been so long since he'd last eaten. All right, here's Chance. Now, he's just a puppy, so Wells from the rehab and rescue told us that he's young and resilient, but when you rub his belly, she said, you feel his rib cage. Both dogs are now being fed multiple times a day.
Oh, it breaks my heart. Well, as freezing temperatures move closer to Central Texas, we want to, remind you, don't forget the pets, especially if they're outside. Cribs for Canines, a Waco nonprofit, is offering free straw. You can visit any of these 6 locations this Saturday from 4 to 6 p.m. You can go to Player Bail Bond on West Waco Drive, the Humane Society of Central Texas in Waco, the La Vega Veterinarian Clinic on East Loop 340 in Belmead. Our station, you can come here, 6700 American Plaza in Waco, the Falls County Sheriff's Office parking lot, and also the Hewitt Police Department building will have straw.
And happening today, big news, Governor Abbott going to be in Waco to put his support behind a State House candidate. The governor will speak at an event for Pat Curry, who he's endorsing for House District 56. This will start at 1:15 at the Texas Sports Hall of Fame. Charles Doc Anderson held the seat for 20 years, and he announced he was retiring last year. Pat Curry will face the Texas Attorney General-backed candidate Debbie Duke in the Republican primaries. That's going to be on March 14th. Keisha?
Well, the body of Waco native and Dallas area Congresswoman Eddie Bernice Johnson made its final visit to her hometown of Waco yesterday. The funeral procession, it left Dallas and it drove down MLK Boulevard, passing by the Doris Miller Memorial. Longtime friend and colleague, former Congressman Chet Edwards, says she fought to recognize his accomplishments.
She was inspired as a young child by his service and sacrifice for country. So in a way, Doris Miller inspired Eddie Bernice Johnson's 50 years of public service.
Remember, Doris Miller helped defend Pearl Harbor during that surprise Japanese attack in 1941. Johnson worked to award him the Congressional Medal of Honor. Close friends and sorority sisters shared memories of her and say they hope to live up to her legacy. Johnson was 89 years old. She was laid to rest at the Texas State Cemetery in Austin. The CDC says RSV is the leading cause of infant hospitalizations in the United States right now.
Our Nate Smith actually spoke to a local mom whose baby is dealing with RSV now. He also spoke to a doctor. Nate, this is a window into what some of these families go through. What did you learn about the disease?
Good morning, Pete and Keisha. Now this behind me, this is baby Everly, and she spent the better part of the last month in the hospital fighting RSV. Now, along with the respiratory disease, Everly has battled a number of other conditions during her short life, including a bacterial infection in her lungs and pneumonia. Those are all just some of the complications that can come with an infant contracting RSV. And according to Baylor Scott and White, in recent years, doctors have actually made strides in RSV prevention.
So now we actually have Abrisvo, which is a vaccine that the mothers can get between 32 and 36 weeks in pregnancy, which actually gives the baby direct antibodies to prevent RSV.
Dr. Avila also said that taking precautions such as washing your hands and distancing yourself from crowds can be key in making sure you don't give your baby or a loved one's baby RSV. In the next half hour, we'll give you more details about Everly's fight with RSV. Reporting in studio, Nate Smith, KWTX News 10.
Meanwhile, ERCOT has issued a weather watch ahead of next week's cold temperatures. It will be in effect Monday through Wednesday. ERCOT reports grid conditions are expected to be normal. However, it will continue to monitor those conditions closely. To stay up to date, you can sign up for the agency's Texans Alert system. That is Texans minus the E.
Your KWTX First Alert Forecast with meteorologist Sean Bellafiore.
And one of the reasons why I think we're going to do a little bit better this go around compared to February 2021 with the winter storm that happened, now 3 years ago at this point, is that this time we don't have wintry precipitation and multiple rounds of it. So that should bode well for power lines, power generation as well. But it is definitely going to be cold. And in fact, it may feel colder this go around compared to what happened in 2021. Cold this morning, I guess, but the fact that we're going to be much colder than this in a couple of days makes this feel kind of pleasant. 30s, 40s, and 50s outside this morning, even 56 down in College Station. We're watching for some developing clouds east of I-35, maybe a little bit of some patchy fog east of I-35 too, and those morning extra clouds that may be pushing through, especially east of I-35, may keep temperatures for some of us a little bit cooler. The majority of us will see our high temperatures today max out in the upper 60s. But there could be some lower 70s out there depending on how much fog, how much cloudiness sticks around east of I-35. If you live west of the Interstate, 70s are almost a guarantee. We have the first cold front of two pushing through overnight tonight. This isn't the Arctic cold front, but from 11 p.m. to about 3 or 4 a.m. tomorrow morning, we are expecting some scattered showers and storms to form. West of I-35, the front's going to pass through without the storms pushing in, but the cold front will barrel through, giving us a chance for some stronger storms east of I-35. Gusty winds and hail will be the primary threat. And then tomorrow is going to be a drastically different day. Not only will it be colder, but we'll also have some pretty strong northwesterly winds, which I think our forecast models are a little bit too low in those wind speeds. Morning wind gusts could be between about 35 and 45 miles per hour.
Well, your time right now is 6:08. Still to come. A third suspect under arrest in the double murder case of a pregnant teen and her boyfriend. We'll tell you how that suspect is allegedly involved.
And a look at the final GOP debate ahead of the Iowa caucus. Also, what three prominent candidates were doing in the meantime.
New this morning on KWTX in the First Alert Center, we are tracking power outages in Central Texas.
And now, why ERCOT has asked Texans to conserve power this morning.
Well, although there's only a little bit of some wintry precipitation falling, you can't really see the left half of our sky cam. We're talking the potential for ice this morning and those sub-freezing temperatures coming up.
And I am live outside with what you may see and feel this morning. Here's a heads up, it's cold.
Yeah, it's our girl. Also, the Cowboys are headed for some, well, introspection and reflection.
Florida, the off season.
Yeah, they're headed to play golf. Season's over for the Cowboys. What will they do next?
This is KWTX News 10.
Good morning. Thank you so much for waking up with us. I'm Keisha Lopez.
Yeah, and I'm Pete Souza, and it's cold in here. We know it's much colder outside, and we want to get you guys ready for it today.
Absolutely. We're going to go over to First Alert meteorologist Sean Billafury, who is in our First Alert Center. Today is a First Alert weather day.
Yeah, and we have been talking about it now for quite some time. It's finally here. All those not only cold temperatures, but bitter cold wind chills. That's going to be sticking around through the day today and through much of the day tomorrow as well. But today is really the only time that we're going to have precipitation, a mixture of snow flurries and sleet falling this morning across many spots in central Texas. Now, the steadiest precipitation stretches from this band from Washington, D.C., actually all the way down into northeast Texas, and it is pulling away. So eventually we are going to get rid of this mixed precipitation we're seeing. But some of these snowflakes and these sleet pellets are so fine that they're actually not getting picked up on radar this morning. It looks quiet out there, but we have been seeing some of those flakes fly. You can actually see the reduced visibilities, the ice on the camera on a News 10 Skycam network camera in Waco. So the good news is that most of the treated bridges, overpasses, and roads are okay. The less traveled roadways, parking lots, untreated surfaces are a little bit slick. You're going to need some extra time on the roads today, and you're also going to probably need some extra time to get stuff off of your car's windshield as well. A scraper is probably going to be needed today. Current temperatures are in the double digits, in the teens, but the wind chills are down close to and below zero. With morning mixed precipitation and some afternoon sunshine, we'll see late day highs today warm up into the mid to upper 20s, but wind chills will feel like the single digits and teens all day long.
Right now, we are taking a live look at our TxDOT cams overlooking Interstate 35 there. Central Avenue and Belton. Things are looking pretty good this morning. You can see the way traffic is flowing pretty well, but still it's best to be careful out there. TxDOT did go ahead and pre-treat the roads, bridges, and the highways.
From the First Alert Center this morning, we are tracking power outages. We can tell you across the state, nearly 7,000 customers without power right now. The biggest outage that we are tracking is down in the Georgetown area. The number has gone down right now, about 321 people without power there. But there is a new outage in Central Texas I want to tell you about just in the last 30 minutes. This is in the Morgan's Point Resort area. If we zoom in off of Lake Belton here, giving me a little bit of difficulty, but about 60 people are without power in this region. Again, this is the Morgan's Point Resort right off of Lake Belton, where about 67 people are without power. Their estimated restoration is 8 o'clock this morning.
ERCOT has asked Texans across the state to conserve electricity only if you can. The agency wants you to cut back between 6 and 10 a.m. The agency says that the request is because of high demand and low wind power generation. Conditions may be similar tomorrow. Fortunately, ERCOT says emergency conditions are not expected. However, it will provide updates as necessary. Some of you may be getting ready to head out into the cold. Some people still have to work today.
Yeah, one of those is Allie Kadlabar. She's out there right now in the frigid conditions in Woodway. Allie, what are you feeling out there this morning? Just give people a little bit of a glimpse into what they're in store for if they have to head out.
Yeah, good morning, you guys. Yeah, I am wearing multiple layers. 3 layers on the top and my jacket, 3 layers on the bottom, snow boots. I have those hot hands in my boots, and I have gloves on, and my fingers and hands are still cold. My face is definitely feeling this wintry precipitation that's falling on us. We see it gathering on my jacket. Also, the plants, they are covered with a nice light layer of snow this morning. We're seeing that there too. Also, I'm seeing little patches of snow gather on the parking lot that I'm in right now, so you can kind of see just what it's been like throughout the morning as the snow and the wintry precipitation has continued to fall. I also want to remind you that if your car was parked outside overnight, you may have to deal with a frozen windshield, ice on your windshield. Currently witnessing somebody trying to take the ice off with their windshield wipers, not working out for them. Highly recommend you take some time to thaw out your windshield. A heads up for you guys there, but definitely dress in layers, dress warm if you have to get out in this, because it is not fun standing out here in the cold. Live in Woodway, Ali Kadlavar, KWTX News 10.
All right, thanks a lot, Allie. Stay warm out there. Now, as many folks stay inside their homes to keep warm, we have some tips that can help keep the heat in and hopefully lower your energy bill. Now, we spoke to an expert who says that maintenance on your home is key. We're talking about an HVAC expert. He says that make sure your filters are changed and that your motor and heat strips are all working properly. They also say to keep your heat running even if you leave, as your house can take longer to heat up if you shut it off. And also, you should find and seal any gaps in doors and windows.
Meanwhile, if you have a generator, it is important to understand the dangers of carbon monoxide, often called the silent killer, because the gas is odorless, tasteless, and non-irritating. Doctors say most carbon monoxide poisoning deaths happen in the colder months as people try to keep themselves warm. They say fumes can quickly build and are often fatal if not caught early.
Dizziness, extreme headache, and extreme nausea, and then ultimately sleepiness, which is what causes a person to fall asleep and ultimately die. Now, that might sound like a long process as I've described it, but it actually happens in a few short minutes.
Experts say keep your generator in a well-ventilated area and to not run your vehicle in a sealed garage. If all else fails, experts say try to wear as many layers as possible when you go outside.
All right, now if that's not helping, or if your power actually goes out, the state has prepared warming centers in several cities. Actually, on Friday, the governor tried to get ahead of this cold and provided this resource. Now, look at the bottom of your screen. That is the website address, tdem.texas.gov/warm. You see here on your screen, we'll blow it up a little bit. These are the warming centers in your area. We get close to us, 10 in Killeen, 2 in Bell, 2 in Waco. You see them in our area, like I said. Now, if you want to hone in on exactly where they may be in your specific area, tdem.texas.gov/warm is the website.
And to keep you up to date on weather conditions, just download our free KWTX weather app. Just scan the QR code right there on your screen.
Your KWTX First Alert Forecast with meteorologist Sean Bellafiore.
Satellite radar this morning is actually pretty quiet across our area, but it's a little bit of a misnomer, misleading for you, because we do have sleet and snow falling, although they're kind of flurries, not really too much to them. But that is so fine that our radar actually isn't able to pick up on it. However, we have started seeing some radar returns come back down near the Brazos Valley. So know that a mix of sleet and snow is expected to fall this morning, with temperatures currently in the teens, as cold as about 10 degrees in Brownwood, warm as 20 in College Station, and everywhere in between. As we move through the morning, that mix of sleet and snow with isolated spots of freezing rain could be possible east of I-35, where we could see up to 1/10 of an inch of ice. Some slick bridges, roads, and overpasses east of I-35, and there could be some isolated slick spots for the entire area, but the farther west that you go, the better the chances are going to be that the roadways are clear. Again, the untreated surfaces are going to be the problem spots, and also, like Ali said, you're probably going to need some extra time to get that ice off your car's windshield. Wind speeds are sustained about 10 to 20 miles per hour, and that is bringing us a morning wind chill close to and even below zero. So bundle up if you do have to go outside at all this morning. As we roll through the morning, we'll have that sleet snow mixture. Stick around for the first part of our day. Very light, very low totals with late day sunshine, potentially warming our temperatures into the mid to upper 20s. But unfortunately, wind chills are going to be stuck in the single digits all morning long, and only warming up to as warm as about 16 or 17 degrees for a feels like temperature later on this afternoon. Even lower wind chills, believe it or not, could be on the way tomorrow, and we'll take a look at that coming up in less than 15 minutes.
All right, the time right now, 6:09 on the clock, still to come on News 10 this morning.
The Cowboys are finished, Keish.
Yep.
That's right. We're going to take a look back at last night's game and talk to you about the future for the Cowboys, what Jerry Jones is saying.
And also, it is Martin Luther King Jr. Day. We'll take a look at his legacy and also updates about events around Central Texas.